Hello Cancer, this is your December 2016 read. Life is getting a little busy and I didn't want to miss out on certain periods, so I decided I'm going to do all of December all at once for you. That way we don't have missing time pieces here. I'm using the Tarot of the Moon Garden this time. It's one of my I don't think it's not my first deck, but it's one of the first ones. The paintings are by Karen Marie. Speak hard. I don't know if you can read that, just in case you want to. It's Tarot of the Moon Garden, really an older deck of mine. Beautiful deck. It's very fantasy-like, in my opinion. And for the advice cards, the Angel Therapy Oracle cards by Doreen Virtue. I believe this one's back from around 2006. Another deck I very much like. I have a lot of her decks, so I tend to use hers. As usual, I have already shuffled the deck, and oh, he came back. Let's do the bottom of the deck. Okay. Alright. Now, I always read cards based on what I'm seeing from them, and this is definitely a different deck than... It seems different than traditional decks a lot when I look at it. The Three of Pentacles is your overall energy for this month here. And I get a lot, because you'll notice if you look closely, the pentacles actually kind of look like bubbles. I think they're supposed to be bubbles. In fact, I'm sure they are. And when I'm looking at these, I feel these like they're rising. Like I feel like this is rising to the occasion, getting things done and moving forward as necessary, but definitely rising to the occasion. There's a star up here that's really getting my attention too. It's like shooting for the stars and going for it. Even if you feel like there's something in your way and you can't get to it, you're still going to try for it and do your best to do so. As we go into this, I feel like you're coming into December already, like ready to go. I feel like there might be a lot going on and you might be charging through some things. Like I feel like this is what's coming in from the previous time. As you go into December, this is affecting you. Like you're moving through something. Like it might have been a little difficult coming out of the last holiday. If you celebrate a holiday in November, I'm aware that like I'm an American, so we have Thanksgiving, and I know that's like I believe that's pretty much an American holiday because it's what it's signifying. If there's other mirroring holidays in other countries, I apologize. I'm really not aware of it. So go ahead and comment. Let me know because I wasn't aware. But I feel like something from the last month is mirroring or pulling in from this situation, pulling into December. And I feel like you got through some situations in November, and you're kind of pulling that same energy into December, if that makes sense. Like something that happened in November is pulling in and going through December. I feel like you're ready for it, though. The King of Swords, he's traditionally a communicator. Sometimes he comes through as an activist to me. I feel like he's laying down the... This one makes me feel like he's laying down the law. That's kind of what I'm feeling from him. Like he's saying, this is what's going on, this is how we're doing it, I'm not going to put up with this, I'm not going to put up with that, that's allowable, that is not, that type of situation. That's kind of what I'm feeling from him, right in the beginning of December. Like, he's just being clear, this is how things are going, this is how things are not going, and moving forward. This is kind of mirroring to the rising to the occasion, in my opinion. Whatever's going on in December, or at least in the beginning of December, if something happens, it's just like, oh, we're not going to go down that. I'm going to nip this in the bud before it gets out of control. That's what I'm getting from it. And we got the Page of Pentacles right after that, which this makes me feel like, again, like you'll notice it's a bubble, and he's pushing it up to me. And I feel like he's like making things rise, making the whole situation hold a certain standard. Like we're going to keep the situation above, we're going to keep it good. We're not going to be underhanded about anything. We're not going to, do any negative things here. We're going to keep it good. There's a lot of hope. There's a lot of changes that happen because of this. If it's a situation that can go negative or maybe was negative, I feel like pushing it up, I feel like you're pushing it up and you're making a better situation. I feel like that's a lot about what's going on here. Like you're pushing it up, and you're kind of making other people see the benefit of it, and they're also like helping you push it up. I feel like there's a couple people that change roles in this situation, if you will, in the sense of like they may have been a little negative or not really helping out in a positive way before, but now they're more like on your level or seeing it the way you're seeing it, and they believe that it can be a good situation if they follow your lead, and they do so. The environmental card below this is the star, which is hope. And when I'm seeing her, I feel like she's putting all her faith in this river. And there's a lot going on around her. What are those things? I'm not even sure what these things are. They kind of look like flowers. I think they're supposed to be butterflies all around the star there. But I feel like there's a lot of belief that things can work out just by following your lead. And I feel like this belief is like what's actually happening. Like as you push the situation up, other people want to help you and continue getting it in the good direction as well. They believe in what you're saying. However you said it, it made sense to them, and they're like, yes, let's make this a great thing. Let's really do what we can. Now, the interesting thing I got going on here. I just did Pisces, and there was kind of a bump in the road with Pisces, and I'm getting the bump in the road with your reading here too. And these cards are kind of matching, which this is it in your direct line of what's happening for you. This is your environment of what's going on in the environment. So I feel like something goes and kind of screws up your plans. Like, regardless of what this card is supposed to mean, that's what I'm feeling. Like something like I feel like the Devil card here kind of like juts in and screws up your plans a little bit. And I feel like the people around you who are helping just kind of like they prefer to stay out of it. Because I'm getting this boat strongly. Like I feel like they just like, I'm just going to stay out of this. But there's another factor, like somebody who's not already a part of the situation kind of juts in, and it's the Devil card. So I just feel like it's a rotten kind of just like brat energy. Like I don't like it. It's kind of like screwing up the plans type feel. Like basically self-serving people, however that is, just kind of jutting in there and just screwing things up. It's weird because whatever this is, it seems like it happens all at once. And I feel like once that's said and done, whatever it is that happens, you have the King of Swords in the beginning. It then goes into the Queen of Swords, which I feel like the King of Swords is more like plans, this is how we're going to do it type situation. The Queen of Swords is like a little more diplomatic sometimes, and a little more like, how is this affecting others in a way that I can kind of, maybe I'll let things work out a certain way just to make sure the majority of things work out. As you come in, I feel like this is more of a like, I feel like it feels a little more flexible at this point due to whatever the situation is that happened. And I feel like as you show this grace, because I feel like there's some grace with this, like I don't always get that with her, but in this occasion, I'm getting a little bit of grace. It works out and things work out in your favor afterwards based on how you handle it. When I'm seeing her here as well, I'm also feeling like you could come off a little stronger than you usually would. You could come off stronger than you usually would. It's possible. I'm not sure where we're going with that. But I'm feeling like you could be a little more harsh than you are. Because you're being nicer than you maybe want to be, it pays off. It does pay off. And things, like, you get what you want because of it. I'm feeling like things still work out the way they should. I feel like you set up a good foundation, or at least you got people, going your direction, and it helped enough to get the situation to work out in the end the way you wanted it to. Let's just see if there's any advice cards here to, okay. Excuse me. Again, when we have the King of Swords in the beginning, I feel like you're definitely going along what you should be doing. Like, I feel like this inspired, you're going along, you're doing what you should, like, everything is good. I feel like this is going really well. I also feel like Below you, you have the guide box, which is for the environment, which makes me feel like people putting their disagreements on the shelf, like they're shelving their adversity at the moment. So I feel like once you say what you need to say, like you are definitely in tune with what needs to happen for the situation. And below you, when the people start following and have hope in you, it's because they're putting any doubts or disbeliefs or any squabbles to the side. They're like, let's just put things to the side. Any disagreements, any thing that we don't see eye to eye on, I'm just going to put to the side and let be. And I want to help. I want to help this situation work out. As we go forward to the future here, I feel. Again, we have right above is just the way the cards pop. I just kind of flip out the cards, and wherever they land, I'll be honest with you. And then just read them from there. And I think this really matches up. We got the Queen of Swords with Judgment. And with the healing away of addictions, you'll notice she's kind of pouring out, I believe is that an oyster shell? I'm not sure what type of shell that is. I'll just be honest with you. But I feel like she's pouring out, she's being very loving. She's being very caring for others. She's very much looking out for others. Not that that's something you wouldn't normally do anyway, but like something that you might take personally, you've decided to let go and just think about how it's affecting others. And you're just kind of like I feel like you're just kind of like having that water off a duck's back type feeling. Not that deep down that's how it's really going for you, but that's how you're letting it be perceived that way. And it does work out into your benefit. I just feel like water off the duck's back as much as you can. That works out to your benefit. I'm also kind of feeling, being a water sign myself, I kind of feel like this is kind of, you're doing your best to make that happen. I feel like that's what's going to really work out. Judgment in your favor. Like, I feel like you're going to do your best to do it that way, to see it that way. Again, as a water sign, I know sometimes we let things go, and then later on we kind of remember things. It's just how it works. So for your overall energy, I do feel like you're having a great impact. There's a little bump in the road there when that Devil card kind of pumps itself in there and screws up your plans a little bit, and other people kind of back off. They're like, whatever it is that happens, they're like, that's between you, the Cancer, and whatever happens, or whoever else gets involved there. The other people just kind of step back and let you handle it. And I feel like that also works to your benefit because it gives you more control to handle the whole situation. It may not feel that great when it first happens, but I feel like after you look back on the situation, you're going to see that when people step back and let you handle it, they weren't really abandoning you. It wasn't like abandoning you, but it was allowing you to, handle the situation the way you feel necessary, which gives you that moment to kind of get things back in control and be a little more. I feel like you're being really giving, and that's why, because you want it to work out for other people. When that Devil card juts in, I don't feel like that's fair, but I feel like you're kind of sidestepping like what's fair and what's not, and you're just like, what do I need to do to have this work out for everybody? And that's the standpoint you take. As always, give me a comment below. I always love to see how these affect people. Some of you give me a lot. Some of you just let me know a couple words. Either way, I'm very thankful. Naturally, if you want to read from me, go ahead, shoot me an email, james4astral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.